And welcome back to the European Challenger Series. We're just a few minutes out from Game 2 at Champion Select.
Those English lessons didn't do too well for you.
Really not well. I mean, it was 3 minutes and a half, right? Like, there wasn't a lot of time to improve everything, so...
I mean, you can learn Welsh in like 3.5 minutes. All you got to do is sound like you're spitting on everything.
Oh yeah, and just remove all the consonants from my vocabulary. Yeah,
it's great. Just replace it with Y's. It's good.
It's all good.
There is an update, a fairly major update now on tiebreakers and playoff scenarios. Because the Copenhagen Wolves can, at minimum, take 1 point from this series, would put them on 5 points. They have locked themselves into a playoff spot here. It does depend on later on in the day the results of whether they get 4th or 3rd. It means MOUs are out of the playoffs. SK also are locked out of the playoffs. So that's the situation we're in right now. Bottom of the table has been decided.
So MOUs basically in this game are just looking to play spoiler more than anything else and really just show up. And it's actually very important for them because moving into the next split, like if they choose to stay together as a team or even just their core, they need to put up a good showing and actually see how much they can do against their opponents. Last game, they won't really be affected because we were looking at top 4 teams and they will be playing for seeding. But yeah, it is important because like when we were in the same situation like last split, teams still try harder. They were still looking to do well, and then we saw a lot of those players. I know what you're going to say, but I know a lot of those players, you know, found themselves in the next split. So
what am I going to say, Paul?
I know. I thought you were going to trigger me with the Teemo game.
You knew what I was going to say. I was going to say MOUs. That was when they picked up their wins, was at the end of the split last time. So maybe a MOUs that have nothing to play for might be able to play spoiler, as you alluded to here. But the Wolves looked pretty good last game. Once the game opened up, once they got their jungler into the mix of things, they started looking better.
Yeah, a lot of it also started from Champion Select, but also when we got in-game, Ku just did a really good job. You know, we were talking about him moving from LCS back into Challenger, from LCS to Challenger, and just bouncing back and forth, but he had a great game as Gragas. He was super involved in all of the kills in the early game, was basically in all those skirmishes, set up a lot of fights, and also set up a lot of disengages as well that picked up kills, ended the game 7-1 and 14. It was just a really solid game.
Yeah, it was a solid game, and honestly, there was 2 very distinct game plans here. When you look at where jungle pressure was going, top side was the favor of CW. They were looking for the ganks on top, but it was bottom side that we're actually going to take another look at here as well. This is MOUs going in and Dan coming around the backside. This same gank sort of thing happened like 3 times for MOUs. They attempted this, but this is the one where they started with that kill onto Sunux a lot, but it was the counter-engage that came in from the Copenhagen Wolves that really turned this around. Pinoy managed to get a good amount of damage down and actually just slow Nadius and the rest of MOUs back. Dan even tried to go in aggressive, but completely whiffed on his tunnel, looking for a knock-up there after. But from here, this was Ku picking up a whole bunch of kills to put himself up to that good scoreline he ended up seeing.
I mean, the idea from Dan was good. Like, camp the lane, try and get something done in the bottom lane, but it's such a difficult lane to gank. You go up against Ali Tristana. Tristana has a long-range jump and knockback when she hits level 6. Alistair has his ultimate. He has a knockback and a knock-up. Like, you're committing so many resources to make the gank happen, even though they killed the Alistair, to the point where they just didn't have enough to get away because they burnt everything on those kills. So, yeah, committing more resources when you have a counter-ganker like Ku, who's constantly reading the map, is quite difficult. We have another replay as well. It was the top lane engage, another engage by Mouse, which just goes wrong. And this was kind of the start of the end more than anything, because they just simply didn't have the damage from here on out, and then everyone just joined the battle and Copenhagen rules ran over them. Look at the Ziggs ult come in.
Yeah, this is the first time we saw the Ziggs ult do like almost nothing. It hit Sunux a lot while his ult was running, and the rest of the Wolves just kind of moved out of the way and didn't get hit by the empowered spot here. But this was when you kind of started to realize that MOUs had run out of options because of just the better scaling that the Wolves had. They've got a Tristana for damage later in the game. They've got a Victor for damage later in the game. And yes, the Tristana hadn't really showed up yet, but you could just see that MOUs were already struggling to output damage themselves.
Yeah, I mean, we keep harping on about it, but that is basically the reason why that game went the way it went. You know? So we need to see in this Champion Select, we get into it very shortly, does MOUs draft better?
Fix your draft issues
overnight. Just as I, need to fix my English over 3 minutes. That's all you need to do. I mean, they've had a good, 10 minutes. So, I mean, that's triple the time I had. So they should be able to do it.
You need to fix your maths as well. It's...
What?
50-50, I guess.
50-50? It was close enough, whatever.
Close enough. Rounding, you can just round down. It's fine. It wasn't 15, so you don't round up to 20, of course.
Yeah.
But
close enough. Whatever.
No. Well, we'll see. There's a lot. It's been a weird day.
It has, yeah. We've had some funky games, and even that first series as well with
Yeah,
Trevor
the first series was
an
a strange one as well. I mean, Millennium crushed the first game. If you didn't see it, we have no more tiebreakers just because of the way Millennium kind of crushed SK in game 1 and then got the second win, and then that left us in this situation where everybody's playing for seeding now, and there are potential 2-team ties, but they're settled on the head-to-head. So whoever got the better win result in that is what decides it.
That is correct. Seeding is also very important. We're heading to playoffs in 2 weeks from now. And then, yeah, because you don't really want to be facing like the top tier teams right now. Like Inspire, Millennium are really turning it. We need to see Inspire later today, obviously, but Millennium seem back on form. So, yeah, definitely want to avoid those guys in the first round if you can avoid that. So we are into Champion Select and looking towards Copenhagen Wolves for their first ban, which what a surprise!
Please don't do 6 mids.
Yeah, it's gonna be.
Please don't 6 mid bans.
We had that last game. If you didn't see it, 6 mid bans came out.
I'm not ready for a second game where there's 6 mid bans. Oh, and it's happening again.
It's happening, Darkiv. But yeah, like, what are we gonna have? Another Ziggs come out, like Bruise or Akali, perhaps? I don't know. Like,
stop it.
We're gonna see it.
I just feel
Now's
like
the time.
You give so much pacing over with this amount of bans on mid. I mean, none of these picks, other than the Lulu and the Corki at this point, are like, well, you've got to ban these, otherwise they just auto-win the game. And all this does is reduce the early game presence from like mid lane roams and neutralizes mid into a scaling farm fest that whoever has Victor is likely to win.
Yeah, pretty much. That's a good summary.
Right.
Waiting on that final ban. It's Gangplank, so we have
so
exactly
another mid
the
lane.
same
Yeah, so it's the same bans again. So now, do Mouse prioritize the Victor here? Because I feel like you've got to. With this number of mid lane bans, we saw the Ziggs, didn't work. Reactionary didn't work for Mouse. So
both AD carries are up as well. So you have Lucian, you have Kalista. Take one, you take the other. Alistar is also a fine first pick.
I mean, unless you're Mouse and you want to go for something like a Zed. Go for something that's like an AD assassin with presence in the early game, in the early mid game, where you can really make the enemy pay for having a later game scaling mid laner. We've also seen a Twisted Fate today, specifically to take it away from Suna. We've seen Fizz today. What is going on with mid lane today? We've seen some crazy stuff.
I thought it was top lane that was going to have the weird funky stuff. But
no, we've just seen Malphite and Poppy every game.
I know. Like, there's so many weird things. We've got Darshan with the Pantheon in North America. Like, we've seen so many things. What else did we see? Seen Rammus.
We have seen Rammus
times in the European LCS. It came out from LCK when we saw the Rumble jungle as well.
Yeah.
So.
We see challenger players have been playing Kayle.
Yes,
top.
yeah, Kayle. That's some good stuff.
Waiting to see that come around.
Yeah, it's actually.
I just look at these picks and bans and like, I don't know. I think people that have listened to me do picks and bans know that I'm fairly set in my mind of how picks and bans should go when you take a look at a current meta and what you should prioritize and how flex picking and strength picks tend to do well, and then the correct bans. And like, I just look at this and it just confuses me a little. What the team mentality coming into it. Does it
upset you?
I mean, because you've got to take the next step, right? Is that there is clearly a team mentality from both of these teams that is like, okay, well, we think our mid laners, we don't want either team playing earlier game mid laners because it'll disrupt the game too much to how we want to play. So it's more of a game flow thing. But honestly, in the current meta, I feel like this is an example of why I feel these teams aren't ready for an LCS. If you do that against an LCS team and ban mid laners, they pick like Fiora Gangplank if it was available, or like Fiora Cogmore with a protection comp and then crush you.
Yeah.
Because it's just like, good luck controlling my Fiora without any kind of pressure from mid lane.
That's a really good point. We've seen like lower tier teams, even up against higher tier teams, take like a really strong, solid composition in terms of meta and just beat a higher tier team. Like, remember when we saw that Gamers 2 draft or the G2 draft, where they just picked up random stuff and went like Udyr jungle, and then they actually just lost because the opposing team had 5 OP picks. And it was like, well, we just have a better comp than you. So it doesn't matter how fast and loose you play and how well you play the early game, if you just simply do not have the tools to deal with your opponent, then it's hard.
Well, I gave the very TLDR approach of my feelings on mid lane of whoever gets the Victor. They've got the Victor for Copenhagen Wolves again, plus now they've got an Elise that can very easily look to set up ganks in the middle lane. You just land a cocoon. There is a Fiora on the side of Mouse, so maybe we can see Beansu starting to go aggressive here. Whoa, okay. So, we're going to open some gates. I don't mind the Udyr. Like, I'm just going to straight up say it. Udyr's not a bad pick right now. It's a tricky pick to make it work in competitive. Solo queue, not so much. Nobody wards in solo queue properly, and nobody really knows how to disengage from a fight with an Udyr properly without coordination. So a great solo queue pick has its difficulty. You were actually talking about Udyr when G2 picked it, and how difficult it was to make it work. But they're in a similar situation. Also, very short range composition from Mouse so far.
Yes, they have a hook to engage, and that's it. That is their engage.
Is that locked in? It is.
It is. Okay, Rammus. We've seen a top lane a bunch recently. It's really good into heavy AD compositions because you get to late game and you can't kill the Rammus. And that's basically the TLDR. You just don't kill him.
Oh, there's a bigger problem than that. Deals with Udyr very well. Like, Udyr comes in and is like, bear slap. Rammus goes, taunt. Now you can only attack me for 2 seconds in this fight. So good luck trying to, lock other people down. Buys a lot of time for the rest of Wolves to run away, and there's some crazy stuff happening in this game. That's a Twitch.
That is, yeah. I mean, everything was making sense up until the Twitch coming out. Lucian Usopp, remember, we didn't see that in the first game, despite him being available. Twitch, he saw some play, like, in preseason, and then people were like, actually, Lucian and Kalista's better. And then we just didn't see him.
So Twitch is a scaling teamfight setup, AD carry. I keep wanting to call it Rat-a-tat-tat.
It is?
It is Rat-a-tat-tat.
That's his ultimate.
Spray and Pray used to be called.
It did, yeah.
See, I always get messed up.
Yeah.
So it will have good potency in teamfights, especially when you look at the likes of, you've got a Rammus to peel for you, an Alistair to peel for you. Should be okay. Last pick that was locked in was a Lux. It's another reactive mid laner. Not sure how I feel about it, but Lux into Victor is a fairly neutral lane once again. Nobody's
Super
getting
long
anything,
range and never getting a range for a skill shot.
I mean, it gives them some range alongside the Kalista, the Udyr, the Fiora.
True.
Good control over side waves, but that's about it.
Yeah, I'm also just thinking about this composition, because, like, Pinoy's never going to get hit, ever. Because, like, they have Thresh, and that's kind of it to get on people, so you land a hook or a binding, and that's kind of it. Because then Fiora and Udyr and Kalista are not going to get in range of a Twitch.
They do have more damage now, though. With a Fiora in the top lane, rather than a Malphite, they've got other ways of dealing with tanks' problem. Is you're against Rammus. And Lux, unless she's super far ahead, doesn't really deal too well with tanks.
Well, there's a lot going on in these compositions and a lot to talk about as we get into the early game, but make sure you join the discussion on Twitter about these compositions, hashtag CWWin and hashtag MOUWin, as we head into the second game of this best of two. Mouse are currently knocked out of playoff contention, so they are just trying to play spoiler, but Copenhagen Wars would be very happy with the extra points coming out of this 2-0. So, as we get into this game, we're going to see what the teams have in store for us. But there's the Twitch you can see on your screen that right there on Pinoy. I just don't think he's ever going to get killed ever. Despite him being... Well, despite him being Twitch and having, like, no escape, that's usually the downside of Twitch, right? But in this composition where you have, like, a Rammus frontline, the peel coming in from Alistair, like, all of this burst, and then Mouse just don't have a way of getting on him.
Mouse have already lost the game, in my mind, because they're not playing with Star Guardian Lux. The best Lux skin.
Still Legion? No, normal.
No, it's just
Faker
I think
style.
It's base.
Yeah. Classic.
Dear. Star Guardian is the best Lux skin. Anybody who says otherwise is wrong.
What about Steel Legion? That's pretty high tier.
I'm not a fan of Steel Legion just because the... So Steel Legion Lux used to be one of the skins that... I'm going to use the word exploit with air quotes that you can't see.
I can see them.
You can see them. So it wasn't so much of an exploit, rather than the skin provided minor advantages to a player until the Lucent Singularity was actually made more visible on all Lux skins. Used to be Steel Legions would blend into the floor pretty effectively. In a similar way to Blitzcrank's hook used to be very difficult to spot as it was coming out. So it was one that was actually banned at a lot of tournaments. So that's why I don't like Steel Legion. Has a negative stigma with it.
Even though it's fixed now.
Even though it's fixed. Same with Santa Gragas.
Yeah,
because the barrel
tiny
is smaller.
Yeah, and you hide it.
But now it has the indicator.
Now it's fine. Also, damn. I had another one, but Warring Kingdoms Katarina, when she had the recall animation, we threw the blade up in the air, and looked like she was using Q. So when you're reacting to that with like a Yasuo or something, you throw out the wind wall. It's like, oh, she was just recalling. I just wasted a 20-second cooldown.
Another one. Underworld Twisted Fate. His cards used to be thinner than they would look. So just a glimpse into maybe some people that don't have that context on smaller tournaments that maybe aren't so controlled when it comes to like
skins
that kind of thing, which is a very similar reason to the why Zizirot Portal is enabled for LCS and CS, because the exploit is very, very obvious
very specific.
on how to use. It means that the item is actually fine to use, because anybody that's doing it, it's going to be like, huh, what are you doing up there? What is
I
that
accidentally
doing?
pulled away this cam, placed it down, and reset it. Oh, it's just an accident. I mean.
So a very similar reason is just the ability to spot and control some of these issues has been neutralized. So.
Indeed. We just have a standard lane swap going on. Looks like both these teams will execute it absolutely normally. And yeah, not too much to write home about. Really, phase 2 of the lane swap is when we start talking about stuff, because things can go a little bit awry or specifically good for one team, but right now the junglers are just going to join their teams. I guess the major difference is Copenhagen Wolves are not bringing Ku with them for the push, but I believe they've already got this push off, so they should be donating all of that gold over to Wicked. We've seen some scumbag bot laners, like AD carries, take half the gold, which you shouldn't
Stick around. So Wicked did get that. Oh, Zebex in trouble.
That's the Cocoon. He's going to have to pop the cleanse very early on into the game, and Ku will be back.
He will. Cleanse on Soren is available as well, just to keep in mind. So really no kill pressure mid lane. Look at the difference in timing, though. MOUs are well behind this play. Also, we're doing a really kind of obscure rotation from this as well. Like,
the Twitch lands the Cocoon, and here comes Twitch with the damage. The riposte comes through, and Binsu will back away. Pinoy may be overextending, but Nukeslot's here to save him. The headbutt, the pulverized combo. Pinoy will jump away. He's got all these Ren stacks on him, but it's not enough damage. Ku will come out with the kill onto Nadius and save Twitch, and that was not over aggression at all. 2-0 over to Copenhagen Wolves.
What is Zaitan doing? Like, very rarely do you see a support leave early, which is not too bad. They figured that tower was going down, completely fine. Zaitan runs down mid lane, which is not the second phase of a lane swap whatsoever. So he's obviously looking to counter without enough vision. Keep your eyes on where Zaitan is here, and look at his movements in general. He doesn't have wards to place. So he's actually not actively doing anything. All he's doing here is maybe looking to set up on Victor. There is this fight going on, and now Sir Nukesalot comes. Like, look at this whole fight is going on. Zaitan has literally done nothing for the last 30 seconds of this game, while his AD carry in top lane just got taken out bottom side. Either a mistimed recall or bad communication from MOUs.
Flash, taunt, bump, get him! Binsu, he doesn't have flash, he has no way to get away as the Cocoon lands, but great riposte. The flash from Ku will probably secure the kill. Just needs one more auto attack with the Neurotoxin. That's a kill over to Elise the Spider Queen. 3-0 now over to the Copenhagen Wolves. Does have to burn more resources than I really first expected, but you don't really get away from a Rammus when you're running, away from your towers. You just get run down. He sonics you.
There are a couple of things, though, from that. Nadius is up on farm compared to Pinoy and does have a level advantage. So Pinoy did obviously get zoned away, plus then that engage the bottom lane slowed him down. Down on this Udyr. Hasn't had to recall yet. No, sorry, he has recalled. He's picked up... Challenging Smite.
Nukesalot. He's going to get hooked. He's only level 3, and Dan is here to lock him down with the bear slap. Nadius is going to chase after. This should be an easy kill onto the cow. Instant kill, and now Pinoy will have to back away. The push comes into the bottom lane, and the counter jungle will begin from Dan. Yeah,
that is a lot better out of Mouse to set up a play like that. I don't know how I feel about challenging Smite on Udyr, and my gut instinct doesn't like it.
Flash hook lands onto Pinoy. Nadius is there, and so is Dan. That was fantastic by Zaitan. Maybe question his decision making, or maybe question Wicked as he just teleported onto this tower.
They're waiting for him to come back
U-turn.
around.
What?
Wicked.
I mean,
Okay.
So Zaitan's pushing the bottom lane here with...
I don't get that. Oh, this is some weird. The last minute has, like 2, 3, maybe even 4 minutes, has had some really weird decision-making in general. So Mao's going to pick in the bottom side jungle. On to Sunuxalot. They then go bot lane and get the same 3-man pick onto Pinoy and get the teleport out of Wicked. And they get the same 3-man pick onto Wicked.
Yep.
Wolves did not learn from their first 2 mistakes of not to go 1v3 in that scenario. The first one, somewhat forgivable for Sunuxalot.
Sure.
He's trying to establish vision control in the bottom side. The second one was Pinoy getting caught by a max range hook, which he shouldn't have been in range for. Yeah, flash hook. You do have to respect that, but it's difficult to read.
Yeah.
Third one says Wicked completing the teleport when everybody's dead.
And doing a U-turn back into Mousesports. Like, he was away. He could have just drifted off into the distance. He could have just, like, gone into the enemy jungle and recalled. Could have gone mid lane, given Soren a high five. But no, he does a U-turn and goes back to the turret and gets hooked. And goes into a small, tiny corridor where it's difficult not to get hooked.
I'm trying to regather my thoughts on this game. I was talking about Udyr and challenging Smite.
Oh, yeah, that's true, yeah.
I feel like in competitive right now, vision control is the #1 factor. And Udyr, with challenging Smite, does not have wards coming from his jungle item. Plus, you really don't want to go Sightstone on Udyr, because you need to stay ahead of the damage and tankiness curve to keep Udyr actually a viable champion. And Sightstone doesn't give you enough health, slows you down in terms of damage plus tankiness, and is just kind of there as an extra item later, so that you can't really hit true 6 items point for Udyr. If you go super late, that's a very minor factor on the end of it, but I'm not a fan. I don't think you get enough from the damage reduction plus the amplified damage to not have the extra wards.
So you would go Tracker Snipe always over Stalkers, for example?
Maybe not always, but I just feel like, I don't know, it's me personally, I feel like Vision you can gain so much more from. Maybe I'm wrong on this, but...
Run! You can make it, I believe. Ooh, auto attack over the wall.
You did believe.
Yeah, there you go. I had that faith on Beansu. He also had the Corrupting Potion. Ku is on the chase. The Flash, Venomous Bite, bam! Takes down his target. Bot lane with the 2v2. The flash by Pinoy looking for the outplay with Rat-a-tat-tat. That's the kill coming out with the expunge. And Zaitan now backing off to the tower. Pinoy goes back into stealth with the reset. And he has the rat signal right on top of him, but lands the hook. However, Nukeslot is unfortunately under the tower, and it's the one tanking. Dan in the mid lane going into the gravity field. The ultimate coming out from Soren. And Ku is going to be assisting as the Death Ray comes across for another kill. This has been... so many kills over to Copenhagen walls all across the map. Such
a bloody game. 10 kills, 10 minutes on the clock. Mouse, Sebex runs over Pinkwood, can't stop to take it out. Fiora is coming down though. That Cocoon wasn't going to hit from Ku. Now he's got to deal with Beansu. Says, okay, I'll deal with you.
Yep.
Actually has a level advantage. Level 7 to Beansu's level 6 right now, and that's all from the kills that Ku's had. Just to round off the point, I'm talking about Udyr specifically in competitive. I think in solo queue, vision control is not an important factor as anywhere near as much as it is in competitive, and I think that's where the difference is in my mind.
So I think there's a small caveat to that, especially with like Udyr and people who want to duel enemy junglers, because you want to track your opponent so you know where they are, you can counter jungle, you can go for those 1v1s. So there is merit there, as Dan will be finding Ku. If only he had wards from Tracker's Knife, he would have known he was there. Wicked. He's charging up the Powerball, and now he's going to start running away, or rolling away. He's out. So ultimately, that's going to come to nothing. Stalker's Blade is also very good in solo queue, because you get the extra movement speed, you steal it away from them, and then you actually get on top of them. Because once Udyr gets on top of you, he's pretty golden. Because now he's on top of Wicked and he's probably going to maul his face off. But this is a 3 versus 2, and it looks like Copenhagen Wolves, well, they almost look good for a second, but now they're all dead. 2-0, double kill over to Nadius.
That's a fight that the Wolves shouldn't even be taking. They shouldn't even be in that position to be caught out like that, because they had pink wards, they had vision, they knew exactly where Mouse were in this topside jungle. And they just get caught. And now the rest of Wolves couldn't group on them in time either. Now Soren wants to come top. It is 2 versus 2 with the Alistair. Plus now you've got the Powerball Rammus coming up to the top side. Soren still wants this.
Rolling, and the top lane, the flash into the double knockback, and Nukeslot is there to follow up with his own CC. Soren will pick up the first kill. Nardius is just trying to buy time. Double kill comes out for Soren. This is a lot of kills going down all over the place. Pinoy, he's got the Ghost Blade. And nice vision juke actually by Binsu, because Pinoy couldn't get the damage off, so that was nice.
That was nice. No surprise in store for Binsu, but has he got Dan as a surprise? Flash over the wall into Bear Slap, could get it straight away.
Riposte, Pinoy he's gone. He's dead. He's pretty dead. Sebex.
And like...
He's gone.
I just feel like this is another example where it's like the challenging smite in that situation is offering nothing. Like, legitimately offering nothing.
Nothing. It's kind of true.
Because you're picking these fights where it's like 2v1, 2v2, 3v3, where you're not 1v1 against the jungler in the enemy jungle. You're just straight up numbers, and if they're bursting you, that's great.
Yeah.
Good job. Your damage is being output by your carries anyway. I don't think Ude needs to carry enough to have like that kind of itemization.
That's also the problem with like most junglers with skirmishes right now.
I love Runic Echoes, by the way, as well. Gives him that extra damage on Phoenix, the first hit. Yeah. Plus also just the splash damage as well. And the movement speed.
Clear. Like, you clear the jungle so fast with Runic Echoes Phoenix. No, another hook onto Wicked. We have the rest of the team there. Nardius is slowly dying from the Rammus, and he was actually killing himself for a bit as a W came up, but he is out. He is alive. Wicked dies again. Has gone first item in Thorn Mail. That is not what I call optimal. Usually you go for items with health, and then you go for Thorn Mail second, third item. Second item is even very early. First item is almost never done. Just give you a lot of armor, which translates into more damage. So there's that.
Yeah, getting that extra return damage with Ball Curl as well.
And his old passive, which converts armor into AD. So you always want to activate defensive Ball Curl before you go in for trades, because it gives you more AD. And optimize the amount of auto attacks you're getting out as Rammus. And it's very important. I played a lot of top lane Rammus. How I did play him all AP with Tam Kench, because then you jump inside the Tam Kench with your ultimate on, walk into the enemy team.
Stupid interaction.
And you kill them all, because it's 8 seconds of you doing a lot of damage in an AoE. Mid lane, Pinoy making a lot of damage. That being Sebex, Pinoy was not taking a lot of damage, and Copenhagen Wolves will be taking this middle turret and dealing a lot of damage to it.
6 mid lane bans, Victor goes through once again, and Soren once again is ahead of the game. He's 4-0 against this Lux, which hasn't been able to slow them. Here comes the team fight, though.
Oh no, Zaitan, the repeat, he doesn't land the flay. And that means Nardius will go down, Pinoy will be picking up that kill, and he is completely untouched. Dan, where's the challenging smite now? Oh, there it is. He's onto Pinoy, but he's actually juking away. He's got the stealth. Oh no, the Runic Echoes. It bounces from Nukesalon onto Twitch, but I think he's safe for now. The flash over the wall. Dan activates his Phoenix, and we'll pick up that one in the top side of the jungle. Now we have this intense 1v1 with Rammus. Well, he only has about 4 buttons to press, and will outplay Binsu.
He will outplay Binsu. So overall, Pinoy died. Sebex died. I think Nardius died. Maybe I'm wrong about that. I didn't see Nardius.
Nardius died because Zaitan missed his flay, and then Nardius was like, no!
I didn't quite catch it in the middle of the team fight. I was keeping my eyes on the intense 1v1.
Went full Darth Vader.
Yeah. I was not expecting that from you. I was expecting something like that from Trevor.
That's true, actually. Yeah, I don't think he dropped a single Star Wars reference today.
No, he didn't. Unless I just didn't pick up on them. Normally, I'm pretty good on that.
Sometimes they're pretty subtle. We're going to see Pinoy coming out here. Because he's got the Ghost Blade, he unloads so much damage. And if you do end up playing Twitch for whatever reason, Ghost Blade is actually a very good first item on him versus other AD carries who would like to go for Essence Reaver or, you know, Infinity Edge, that type of stuff. But Twitch is one of the ones that is actually pretty good with Ghost Blade. Very thankful to the observers who slowed down that flay which missed in all its glory.
There was the kill on Tenadius that I actually missed. And from here, this is just Dan being Ude. Because he has the damage and tankiness to do this, and the movement speed. So look at the movement speed. Hits better stance and goes whoop, flash over the wall, smack him. Actually didn't have to hit.
Nope.
It was just the Phoenix AoE plus the Runic Echoes AoE. So is able to deal a significant amount of damage. Well, if we thought the last game was kind of solo queue-esque, this one I think is even more so.
That's true.
Of course, sorry, I was going to say, of course, these teams are locked into their respective playoff, at least entries.
Yeah.
MOU's out of playoffs, Wolves in playoffs.
Points I think are still important for them. But
Yes, they absolutely are.
I think they probably will win this game regardless, but we'll see. Look, he's gonna jump away with the flash there, but will walk back in. He's got the defensive ball curl up, and now Binsu might get some work done here onto Soren. He's only got one vital to go, but he's blocking against the wall. Laser comes across. Binsu is taking quite a lot of hurt. Dan is being caught out by Copenhagen Walls, and they find a shutdown onto Udyr there. Now Nardius and Binsu. Nardius is gonna die.
Soren's in with the fight now.
Everyone is
Double
being
kill already.
chased into the tower. I don't think I've seen a situation like this in quite a while. There's the triple. All right. Set him
Oh,
up, set him
Twitch
up.
from behind.
Set him up, boys. Pinoy?
I don't think they can close it without Pinoy stealing.
No. Oh, he leaves it. There's the Quadra.
Oh, Pinoy. Now
Pinoy doesn't have any CC
Pinoy,
though.
were you the chosen one? He could... oh, he doesn't have a blade and can't catch up. Victor's chasing this.
Yeah.
So we do have the extended pentakill
Dan just came
window
up,
here. Dan came up. It doesn't matter because there is still an extended window. Binsu is going to scumbag it. Get back into his base. Damn.
Yeah. As an update, Copenhagen Walls are actually locked into 4th regardless of the last game in this series. So that's why we have this game. Pinoy, we're going to see that whole sequence of events once again.
So,
yeah.
when does Soren get into this fight? That's the question on my mind.
Are you thinking if he came earlier, he might have been able to pick up the last kill? Or?
No, I just didn't see him come into the fight at first.
Okay.
Because our main focus was on the left-hand side of the fight as this chase down. So here was Soren in the fight. Does he go for Binsu first, I think? Yeah, oh, Binsu goes on him, so he has to actually kite back. And at this point, Soren is strong enough to just kind of go, okay, we'll take you out. I actually did see this the first time because I was thinking about this as like the world's slowest...
Yeah, because it's so far away from
world's slowest disco ball, like trying to chase people down. It's like something out of like Goosebumps.
This is sad.
Oh wow, Nadius actually died to Taro.
Yeah.
Huh.
Mouse were like, we're actually playing on red side this game. I forgot about that.
Yeah, it's like best of two.
Oh.
Forgot.
I thought this was my jungle. I thought this was my base. Look at good guy Pinoy here. He was actually legitimately setting up his bro Soren for the Penta, but did not pick up the 5th kill. Powerball. Sonic speed, the bump.
Well,
defensive ball kill. This
inevitable.
is the optimal combo from Rammus. Unfortunately, he's quite slow.
Look at the animation cancelling. Said nobody ever on Rammus. Oh dear. No. Rammus is a funny champion.
Yes, he's a lot of fun to play. Oh, there's the CZ right.
Yep. A reminder, it is enabled on 6.3 for tournament servers. Because of how obvious the exploit is that made it disabled.
Indeed. Copenhagen Wolves 62%. A lot of faith in Mousesports with Udyr jungle here. I actually do want to revisit something I said at the beginning of Game 1, which was the level 2 spikes. So if you are...
wait, what? Okay, level 2 spikes, yeah.
Oh, no. Oh, we're going to see Pinoy murder some people first. That's Ku with the first kill. Mouse disengage, thank you very much. Okay. So TLDR, level 2, very important in your lane. This is like a sort of basic thing, but this is really good for like if you're in solo queue and you're maybe like, you know, silver gold. Like getting at level 2 is very important because you get around 600, 700 golds of stat in an instant.
Oh, it's like that. He got him.
No, feels bad, man. So yeah, you get all that gold in like an instant, and then you instantly trade your opponent. You also get an extra spell, so you will almost certainly win that trade 100%. And you just jump on them as soon as that happens. So if you see the minion die from another minion, and you know it's going down, you jump on them, or you finish it off. Or if you're in a 2v2 lane, you have your support kill the minion. And for solo lanes, it is the 7th minion. So you want to kill a full wave, and the first one of the second wave, that will be your level 2. So
Thanks,
keep that
Pulse.
in mind.
We'll keep that in mind for Game 3 of this best of 2 between these two teams. Don't worry, Pulse. Good timing on...
I mean, it's not for
only
this
an
game
hour and
because
a
we
half
had a
late.
lane swap,
Oh,
so we
okay, I
didn't
see.
even see them go up
You were
against
just-
each other. And mid lane was not even interactive stress.
so-
So these guys in solo queue was going to help them,
So
but
you
in
were
this
just
one it
saving
wasn't
it for
even
rainy day.
relevant, so.
You're saving it for rainy day, and then you think, well, for Mouse right now, it's not just raining, it's pouring. So I'll just bring it out. It's this good point. I really want to make it felt. Not like we've got another best of 2 coming up or anything like that.
No,
that could have been utilized in. But it's okay, because
I don't
Wolves
say
are just
that.
closing this game out.
There'll be other things happening. There might be matchup stuff happening, like not in this game.
Man, they might not even get level 2. The game could end 11. No.
That's true. It is possible to become full item build at level 1. Because if you only kill wards for the entire game because they don't give experience, you can actually get to level 1 and have full item build. I saw a Zinjao do it.
The defensive ZZ portal has been
took
placed.
like 3
Pinoy and
hours.
Nadia. So Pinoy came out ahead.
Go on.
You want me to?
Yeah,
It's the
yeah.
end of the game. I'm not playing by playing the end of the game. That's
Kill
your
the ZZ
responsibility.
Get it.
But
Oh,
I mean,
no.
I guess we did just have some dank level 2 power spike analysis here. Nuxalot may get bound up, but is under the tower. Didn't actually get hit by that binding either. Now I am tempted to just steal the play-by-play. It's been a very long time
That's the
since I did play-by-play. But Wicked is sneaking. They know he's there. Hook comes out.
Yeah, he's not really that stealthy. I mean, I haven't really known any armadillos for being particularly stealthy. Yeah. Alright. Coup. Oh. Hello, Dan. He's going to be going onto this dragon. This will be their third of the game, so if this game goes on for another 3 dragons, then maybe Mouse can get that one. Oh, Wicked, though! Comes in with the taunt, the bump, the ult. Man. Rumble, not Rumble, Rammus ultimate and also Rumble ultimate is very good. Such a low cooldown, so fantastic. Like, let's take a look.
Had you
It is
ranting about this on LCS the other day?
55-second cooldown at level 2. And I believe that is without cooldown
Oh,
reduction.
mid lane. Oh, Pinoy gets bound up. See, this is why I don't play-by-play.
Yeah.
Pinoy does, however, get the kill.
Nice.
1 for Soren. Soren at 10, 0, and 4 in this game. 24 kills to 11 with 23 minutes on the clock. That's a lot of kills.
That's a lot. Yeah, that is.
That
That's
is
quite a lot.
nukes a lot of kills.
You know what triggers me? You know what grinds my gears, Stress?
Okay.
Is he's misspelled a lot. It's
No,
2 words.
he hasn't, because
That lot
clearly,
monster, you're not gonna say-
yes, clearly he is nuking a lot.
Yeah, but okay. I don't think that was the intention.
I guess
but
you could say it annoys you a lot.
It really does. Like, oh, Nadius. That was a lot of damage. But no, that really does. That really does.
Is that
annoy me.
intentional or not? A lot of damage.
I mean, it was.
Is that like
but
a lot's volume of damage?
Just go
Or
onto the
like-
spawn pad. There you go. I feel a little bit better now. It's
Well,
like
you got
it's like
nuked, that's
it's like
for sure.
It's like a stress ball. It's just like, okay, I feel good. What?
Moving swiftly on.
I'm talking about stress
Yeah,
balls.
Wicked's moving swiftly along in the mid lane there. You see Powerball just goes whoop,
That was
straight
a
down.
sick transition there, Stress.
Yeah, I know, right? Second one of the day.
Yeah. Yeah, that's 2 out of 2.
Whew. Not bad.
What are the fun facts? Oh dear, you generally don't go for.
Do you rate the did you knows or like the tips that are in
actually.
loading
That would
screen?
be
Did you
OP.
know?
Everyone in this game has gone for swiftness boots on the red side.
Everyone in this game as you scan the rest of them
I was
and
like-
see a Ninja Tabi and
Yeah.
Lucidity boots.
It was all going well until I got down to Zaitan and then started on the Copenhagen Wolves side. Because I did the snake and went down to the bottom on nukes a lot. And then I was like, still holding true.
Well, Wolves want to close this one out. They're going to catch on to Zaitan. Ku manages to pick himself up the kill. Force
a
the
good
cleanse out of
cleanse.
Sevex. And the Wolves are closing this game out. This is going to be the final push of the game. The ZZ Rot minion. One last hurrah, but it's not enough.
You know, if there's any game that you can call a Clown Fiesta, this is definitely one of them. But there's the second Nexus turret going down, and Copenhagen Wolves will be getting the 2-0 on the week. All they really needed from this series was the 1-1 at a minimum, so they can secure that 4th place over Mouse and lock SK, additionally also out of playoff contention. Copenhagen Wolves is a 2-0 in the week.
It was I was about to say unexpected. It was an expected 2-0 result for Wolves. Bit of fun in the last game. But overall, Wolves, they would have just been happy luck in that spot.
Yeah.
All they needed was 1 point, and that was it. That's all they needed, and they managed to hold their playoff spot.
I would like to see more Twitch, though. But I don't think we're ever really going to see it. The problem is, like, the AD carry pool right now is so strong. Like, you have Corki as a flex, Lucian, Kalista, high priorities. Like, you just never really see it nowadays. But maybe some point in the future. Maybe you have 6 AD carry bans, but then Forgiven just plays Caitlyn. So
yeah, that's kind of how that goes. So an update on tiebreakers and all that good thing. No tiebreakers.
Rip.
And the Copenhagen Wolves are 100% locked into 4th. Regardless of how that game went. The reason for that is Huma, they own the head-to-head over the Copenhagen Wolves. So if Huma actually lose the series, the head-to-head determines that tiebreaker. So no extra games to be played. 4th place for the Wolves. Huma at a minimum 3rd.
Yeah, 2-0 over them in previous weeks, so we won't be having that one. But as we set up for the next game, we will be heading to a break for our final series of the day between Huma and Inspire. So we'll see who can get that seeding as we go into that final game. So stay tuned. We'll be back in 5.